Let's be so honest with each other. Most productivity systems are built for robots. They're not built for real humans with ADHD. And I know that if we're looking at the world from a neurotypical perspective, it might seem like we're the robots. But honestly, let's break it down. Neurotypical people have the ability to just do what you tell them to do, the way you tell them to do it, in a straight line. That sounds like a robot to me.
Hey squirrels, welcome to ADHD, where ADHD isn't some clinical diagnosis, it's just life. I'm AV, your always honest tour guide through this beautiful mess. Over here, we're not about fixing yourself. We're about figuring out how to actually enjoy your life as you are. So grab a snack and let's go.
Let's be so honest with each other. Most productivity systems are built for robots. They're not built for real humans with ADHD. And I know that if we're looking at the world from a neurotypical perspective, it might seem like we're the robots. But honestly, let's break it down. Neurotypical people have the ability to just do what you tell them to do, the way you tell them to do it, in a straight line. That sounds like a robot to me. But the trap is that we get caught up in designing our own systems. I literally once spent more time color coding my calendar than actually doing the work that I put into my calendar. So if you're like me and structure feels like a complete and total trap for you, then I'm here to introduce you to fake structure. And bear with me, because I promise if you stick through with me till the end, you will see that fake structure is lazy and not smart. By the end of this episode, you'll have a roadmap for building a business systems that feels natural and not forced. So let's get into it and talk about why ADHD brains reject traditional structure. So there's a couple of reasons, right? And this doesn't only apply to people with ADHD. This applies to, everyone I know. But you know me, I'm constantly diagnosing everyone I know with ADHD or with something. But for us, for me and my people, right? Whether you have a label or not, but if you get me, you get me. Structure triggers resistance. And if something is too rigid, then I'm going to rebel against it, right? And that's not only having a brain that doesn't like being told what to do, but it's also just having learned that the majority of systems don't work well for us, right? So we're pushing back against something that just doesn't feel like it's going to work. And in a lot of cases, maybe it isn't going to work for us. Structure triggers resistance. Anything that is like a should or feels like a should becomes a mental wall. Don't tell me what I should be doing. I'll tell you what I should be doing. I don't like being told what to do. I don't like being confined. I'm going to rebel against anything that feels too constricting, even if it has the opportunity of working well for me. So bear that in mind about yourself. It's not a negative, but it is something to know. The second thing, we crave flexibility and function, right? The ADHD brain and generally the active brain thrives in motion, not in confinement. So we're looking for something that's going to work for me no matter what is happening all the time. It needs to be functional in a myriad of circumstances. It has to be flexible to what I need. And I had a boss once, he said that we all needed to be the word in Hebrew is zamish. And zamish was a mixture of zariz and gamish, a mixture of quick and flexible. So he wanted us to be quick, flexible, which incidentally is what the word alisto means in Filipino. It means quick, clever, adaptable, can change on the go. Because the ADHD brain thrives in motion and not in confinement. We want to be constantly going, constantly iterating. We make systems better and better and better as they go. That's the way that they fit our brains. Because we need systems that adapt in real time, not fixed routines, right? Like what happens if I woke up in the morning and it was just, my brain was not in a specific productivity space. So then what? My routines are going to go out the window and my day is going to be lost? No, you need a system that's going to be able to adapt to those kinds of circumstances. And I'll let you in on a little secret. Traditional productivity systems set us up to fail. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many of them. But they're definitely not built for us. They're built for linear thinkers. They're built for somebody who just needs a little bit of external structure, someone who needs an accountability partner. They're designed for neurotypical attention spans as well. So you can follow through on a task that's maybe an hour and a half long. I can't do that, but I can do a lot more work in 20 minutes if you break it up for me in the right way. Traditional systems rely on consistency that our brains are not wired to build. We don't have that habit building part. We just didn't get it. Like when we were put together in the factory, we didn't get habit building. We got a bunch of other stuff. And then because it's so difficult for us and because there aren't systems that are built for us to succeed, we never really built the consistency because we didn't have the appropriate tools to do so. In a world of AI, that's completely and totally different. It's totally, totally shifting. Up until now, we've been the AI. We've kind of seen everything from that bird's eye view. And now, because I mean, your brain works faster than the majority of people. But now everyone has access to AI. So you get to then level up and level up and level up because your brain has so much capacity. There's a group that I'm in. We get together every couple of weeks, and it's a business coaching community that really focuses on energy. And they call me their human AI because I kind of just like sit and listen to the information that's coming, and then I'll synthesize it and give it back to you, just taking in like, but quoting you directly and extracting exactly from what you said. And that is a combination of the fact that that's how my brain works and skills that I learned through social work, being able to memorize a conversation and analyze it while it's happening and then transcribe it afterwards, because that was something we had to do in school. All of those skills together enable me to also build systems for other people that work for their brain. I'm going to teach you to do here today. So, we've already covered the fact that systems aren't built for us and that they're traditionally just not really, they don't really work. So, why do we need systems? Here's the cost. There is a massive cost of not having systems or of forcing the wrong system. The first is mental bandwidth drain. You only have a finite capacity of mental bandwidth. If you're constantly reinventing the way that you work, you're going to be burnt out. If you don't have a system to fall back to, it's going to take more energy to get you where you need to go. You're always reinventing the wheel. You're going to be constantly exhausted for no good reason. Furthermore, you're causing bottlenecks in your business, right? Not having systems or forcing the wrong systems causes bottlenecks in your business, and you're stuck doing everything yourself because your systems don't support delegation. And if you're stuck doing everything yourself, you by definition are causing bottlenecks in your business. You have clients that are waiting for things that they're not getting. You have possibly team members who don't have enough work to fill their hours, right? So they're having to look for other jobs. So you lose people who would have otherwise been loyal to you. You just get kind of lost because we get started on one thing and then we do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And by the time we pick our heads up, we aren't anywhere near where we started. That's very dangerous because you're going to leave everyone else behind. And not only does that make you a very lonely person, it also is likely harming your business because you're just going off on tangents and whims, which is a problem. Honestly, it just kills your confidence. When nothing sticks, you start to question your ability to run a real business because you jump from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. So nothing properly got built out from A to Z. So nothing is really sticking the way that it should. So what does that say about me and about my ability to run a business? Because it's certainly hurting your bottom line. And this isn't a shame tactic. We've all been there. Every single business person has been there. And pivoting is an absolutely critical part of what we do and of the way that our businesses succeed. But you can't constantly be pivoting. You also can't constantly be staying stagnant. And finding that balance is really, really tricky. So I promised you fake structure. What is fake structure and why does it work? So fake structure are systems that look professional externally, but are designed to match how your brain operates internally. I'm going to leave you with that for a second. Essentially, the world expects you to interact in a particular way. Businesses expect to interact with businesses within a social code of conduct that we have agreed on. And that requires a certain level of professionalism. But I am not the paragon of professionalism. I am all over the place. That's who I am. So I need my external to match what people are expecting and my internal to match what I actually need. Because otherwise, one of us is always, by definition, getting left behind. And I definitely don't want it to be me getting left behind, but I certainly don't want to leave my clients or potential business partners behind. And that is where fake structure comes in. It's not cheating, it's engineering, or really reverse engineering, because you're reverse engineering structure around your behavior, not someone else's template. This is why it works so well, because you can design anything for anybody at any time, which is so cool. Like, I get so excited about that. So often we're sold systems or promises that are based on somebody else's structure. You get on the internet and somebody was like, I've solved how to lose weight, or I've solved amazing skincare routine. And people are teaching the things that have worked for them. But that's the key piece, is that it worked for you. That doesn't mean it works for everyone. There is not one size fits all solutions for everybody. There's so many factors to take into consideration at any given time, whether you're creating a skincare routine for somebody, or hair care, or nutrition, or exercise regimen, or business systems, or whatever it may be, because that's what our life is. It's just a series of mini systems that we put together. And while so often we use the systems that somebody else teaches us, it doesn't have to be that way. You can be in control of the systems that you implement in your life. Fake structure has 4 pillars: flexible containers, visual cues, permission to adapt, and built in grace for imperfection. What do we mean by flexible containers? We were just talking about this morning on our weekly team building, which happens every Tuesday, that at Alisto, we think outside of the box. And I said, at Alisto, we don't have a box. Nothing is box, and everything is box. And then I was thinking about it throughout the meeting, and it's not that we don't have any structure, it's just that we don't have any boxes. All of our containers are flexible. So the way I was thinking about it was like when you go to the lake or when you go to a swimming beach and they have the rope at the edge, that shows you what the boundary is. But you can do whatever you want within these boundaries and still stay safe. So the containers of fake structure are flexible. They can change with you, they could change every day, they can change according to certain parameters, but they're flexible. Visual cues. We are visual people. We remember stuff because our gaze lands on something. We have to have visual cues all around us. And as you can see in my new podcast space, I have my setup here with a bunch of whiteboards. So I have a portable whiteboards and a whiteboard that stays on the wall and a cork board, because I need to have the visual reminders all around me. And as much as I want to be a person who isn't surrounded by clutter, and I would love to be a person who has a spot for everything, within that, there has to be flexibility. So my space, there is a space for everything. My space for all of my visual cues and reminders for work happen on these different surfaces, but there might be different surfaces for different needs. And that brings us to permission to adapt. The system doesn't have to remain exactly the same all the time to be legitimate. You have to allow yourself to adapt within that and be kind to yourself. Which brings us to the last pillar, built-in grace for imperfection. It's not going to be perfect. Our systems are iterative. Human beings learn from behavior, they learn from experience. And people with ADHD absolutely learn from experience. And not only do they learn from experience, they don't learn any other way. I don't care that you told me a million times what was going to happen. Until and unless I see it for myself, I'm not going to believe you. So within that, we have to build in grace to ourselves and to others for imperfection in our systems and be willing to iterate them. So the pillars of fake structure are flexible containers that move with you but keep you secure within boundaries, visual cues, permission to adapt, and built-in grace for imperfection. So let's talk about some examples of ADHD-friendly fake structure systems. Scheduling and time. That's a really big one that gets a lot of us. So instead of hour by hour planning, right? That's what we know, hour by hour planning, or the Pomodoro method, or even the the adapted Pomodoro method. You could have theme days or focus blocks. Maybe you know yourself really well and you know which days you are most successful at doing which kinds of activities. You can have multiple different themes of work that you need to get done. So, for example, this morning I spoke to my business coach and we talked about what needs to get done. And I said, my main task for today is to get content done. So basically, I have a theme day for content, and I'm going to sit here and record content for as long as I can because that is what is happening today. This doesn't always work when you have other team members who need to be with you and who have to be paying attention, whether you're recording content, but it could work in other instances. You can have focus blocks. So if you know that in the morning you are most capable of focusing on emails or on approvals, so do that in the morning time. Have focus blocks for those activities and utilize your executive assistant or your VA to be able to plan the tasks that you're going to be tackling within those blocks. And really, really importantly, time buffers to reset your brain. In those time buffers, be sure that you're including something that's going to keep the movement and momentum going. So maybe you're cooking, or maybe you're taking a walk, or maybe you are, or like maybe you're moving your body in some other way. Maybe you're accomplishing a very specific task that you wanted to do. Keep the movement and momentum going. Try not to just sit around because it tends to bring us down unintentionally. Another example of a fake structure system that works for ADHD is a task management system. It doesn't matter what the task management system is, it just matters that you have one visible master list that has to be visual with visual cues. Doesn't matter where it is, it could be Trello, it could be Notion, it could be paper, it could be your whiteboard. Just stick to one system and break everything down into micro tasks with verbs. So, for example, email Sarah, follow up. I don't do any of that breakdown for myself. What I do is I have a brain dump, which is either on paper where I'm just writing it out, or on a whiteboard where I then take a picture or a voice recording, or even a Google Meet that's recorded, and I just dump all of what I need to do into that meeting. And my assistant then takes that and breaks it down into the micro tasks with the verbs and the context and who is responsible, and helps me delegate that out to the various departments. But if you're just starting, it doesn't matter what you start with. You just have to make sure that everything is in one space. And once you write it down, turn it into an action and break it down into as many micro tasks as it actually is. So, going back to our task example, email Sarah. If there's something that I need for the email to Sarah, right? If it's email Sarah sales deck, then there has to be another task, micro task created, create sales deck. And if I need something for the sales deck, maybe I need some graphics. So, create graphics for sales deck. And you break it down into micro tasks and micro tasks and micro tasks so that you know at what point to start. You're essentially reverse engineering your tasks as well. And your assistant, AI, your assistant or AI can help you with breaking that down into tasks in the smallest pieces. For content creation, an example of fake structure would be to use templates, reuse the same structure so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time. So, what that looks like for us is voice notes or recordings to transcription to post. So it's as short of a process as possible. You run it through AI or you grab it straight from the transcript, and then you can create posts directly from that content so it doesn't get lost. You break it down right then and there, and then you have backlogged content if you wish. So, how do you build your own system? Here's our step by step process for building your very own fake structure system. Step number one is audit what's already working, even if it's just working a little bit. Look at what you actually do, not at what you wish you did. What is the actual process that is currently happening? And then highlight what in that process works. Step two is choose one area of chaos to fake structure. Don't rebuild everything. You have to start where the most friction lives. If you try and do everything all at once, you'll create way more chaos than you will solve. That's kind of like when you're cleaning your house and you need to just dump everything out so that you can restart. We don't dump out the entire desk all at once. We dump out one drawer at a time because we know ourselves. And if we dump out all the desk drawers all at once, then we're going to have a gigantic pile of everything on the floor. And that is a mess, and it takes a really, really long time to get through. Step 3, use the rule of 80%. A system that works 80% of the time is a win. It is an excellent system. Do not focus on 20% of the time that it is failing. 80% of the time successful, that is a successful system. Step 4 is to iterate, but, and this is a big, big but, iterate, but we are not iterating daily. We are iterating monthly. Okay. Again, for the people in the back, we don't iterate daily. We iterate monthly. ADHD brains need space to adapt, but real world systems and like time and the clock needs time to catch up to our brains. If you implement change, you need to give it time to work and you need to see what the change is doing before you iterate again. And I know it's hard, but that one's important. Let's do a little mindset shift together. Okay. Professional does not mean perfect. And I don't even know what perfect means. Someone else's idea of what my perfect should be is ridiculous. Let go of the idea that your systems need to look a certain way to be valid. What matters is the output, not the aesthetics. The back end doesn't make a difference as long as your output is encapsulating the vision that you want to be portraying. Structure isn't the enemy. Misaligned structure is the enemy. Systems are not the enemy. Someone else's systems that you're forced to adhere to have been the enemy historically. But you're in control now, and you're the one who has choice because you are the adult in your own life, and that is so cool. So friends, if you made it with me all the way to the end, congratulations. Get yourself a cookie. You super deserve it. I just want to remind you that you don't need a strict routine. You need supportive systems. Stop insisting on doing things that don't work for you and insist on doing things that do work for you. You owe that to yourself and you owe it to your gifts and you owe it to everything that you have to offer the world to be able to access yourself. Choose fake structure, which is real strategy that works with your ADHD and not against it. And start where it hurts the most, even though that's where it hurts the most. It's also where you can make the most impact. Keep it simple. Iterate without shame, not daily, monthly. Good luck. Let me know how it goes. I would love to know what is one area of your business or of your life that feels so chaotic right now? And how can you fake structure it this week? Let me know. I want to hear from you. Contact us through DMs, through voice memos, and you can also download our fake structure starter kit, which will be available, I guess, in links all down below. And I can't wait to see what y'all come up with. Until next time, stay loose, stay structured, stay hydrated, and I will see you soon. Bye.